I go work like a doctor. When I rock the mic, you got to like the way I operate.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How you doing? It's Granville Emerson, along with my partners, Renault, Pep. I can't say your name tonight, Pep. Renault, Pepe, Bean, and Lil O Stevenson. Didn't do my tongue warm-ups. La, 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 la. Couldn't get it out. What's up, guys?
What's happening?
I don't know. You're looking kind of scruffy around there, man. You need a beard trimmer.
It's fall, man. I'm about to do. I need as much hair as possible.
Yeah, I feel you. Trim it up though. You got little whiskers sticking out there.
Yeah. You got them New York sideburns going.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, and everybody knew this was going to happen. Breaking news: Nick Rolovich is out as head coach of the Washington State University football Cougars. The Washington State governor mandated that all state employees be vaccinated by today or lose their job. And he decided that he didn't want to get vaccinated. He wanted to forfeit that $3 million plus per year he was getting paid and stand his ground. Any thoughts on that?
Bye.
Bye.
I'm pretty sure he's the only person in Pullman. He probably ain't the only person over there in Pullman who might not to get the vaccine.
Well, in terms of the staff there are 90 some percent vaccinated as a staff at Washington State, and the student population is 97% vaccinated. There were also 3 or 4 other coaches. Hey, Bill Walker Jr. 3 or 4 other coaches that were dismissed along with him for refusing the vaccination. So my take on it is, hey, Bill, you got the same demand I got. I just went ahead and got the vaccination, still getting a check. That's all I got to say about it. And, people like to bring up all of these different issues that people have with the vaccine. Oh, you can still get it. Yeah, you can. Nobody said it was 100% effective. It's like 94. If you're unfortunate to be in that 6th percentile, okay. And yet still, if you get the vaccination, you probably won't get really sick. Like the principal of our school had COVID, and I just talked to her today, and she said that she basically had like a sinus infection. And so then she went on and said, well, thank God for the vaccination. So the vaccination is to keep you from getting really sick and or dying.
Yeah, it gives you a better chance to fight.
People getting sick or dying, you say something, Pep?
Yeah, I just said it just gives you a better chance to fight it than without.
Yeah, and to live.
Right.
And most of the people who are actually dying from it and getting sick from it have some type of underlying health condition.
Yes, like General Powell.
Yes, he was fighting cancer. Hey, what's up, John Hughley? He was fighting cancer. And so rest in peace to General Colin Powell.
Yes.
The first black man to serve as the Secretary of State of these United States. A segue into that. So adios, muchachos, to Nick Rolovich and his staff. Kind of sad because they had been on a 3-game winning streak. And I feel like he let his whole team down. Like, I don't know what his personal reasons are. He has refused to articulate what those reasons are, but hey, I'm not, I got the same ultimatum. Get vaccinated or find another job. I'm still employed. So
there you go.
And not letting people down because of my own selfishness. I think that the last thing I'll say about this is, for people who don't want to get vaccinated, they, for some reason, don't understand that they can catch it, feel fine, and give it to somebody else who gets really sick and or dies.
Yeah, absolutely.
To me, that's the catch right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? Not so much about you, but it's about you can get it, be asymptomatic, give it to somebody else unknowingly, and they get really sick and die. And that has happened. And so I think those are things to think about. My Dodgers, 0-2 against the Atlanta Braves. 2 close games, lost in the ninth inning. Last night 5-4, and I think it was 2-1 the night before.
3-2.
Yep. 3-2.
So, yeah. Either way, it was an L. It was an L for my Dodgers. that showed it right there.
Well, they were down 3-1 last year, if you remember. So.
To the same team.
Yep.
Yeah. Just trying to highlight my hat.
And
yeah. So, it ain't over till the fat lady sings.
Correct.
Can you say that nowadays?
You can. Why not?
Yeah.
So anyway, we're hoping my Dodgers will make a comeback. Anybody want to know anything about those other baseball teams? Otis knows. I don't know.
Well, I know the Red
the
Sox
Red
are
Sox
up
are
9-3.
Red Sox are creaming the Astros. Yeah, they're creaming them.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Boston's got sluggers. So.
This is how they played in the beginning of the season.
So Boston has came back from their gigantic COVID fallout, and now they're balling out.
Yep.
So I'd love to see a Dodgers Red Sox series. So
so
that San Francisco Dodgers series was happening. You all got to admit that was a great series.
That ending was kind of messed up.
A little check swing.
Yeah.
I actually like what Curtis Granderson said about it. He said, well, hey, Rhonda Dorsey, he said, we're listening. I mean, we're watching it in real time, right? And I mean, the umpire's watching it in real time, and we're watching it in slow motion.
Yeah.
And so in slow motion, you can clearly see it was a check swing. Hey, Norma, a check swing. But in real time, and when they showed it in real time, I was like, oh, it looked like he did go, right? Yeah. He did take a swing at it. Yeah. He stopped it, but he did take a swing at it.
But they always go to a second set of eyes, and he confirmed it. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, I understand that. I guess they did, and quickly or whatever. It's not reviewable, and so the bottom line is, in my mind, it was poetic justice. Because San Francisco won the pennant because they said that he did not swing when he actually did. And so it was just the exact opposite that enabled San Francisco to win the division over the Dodgers and them take the wild card spot, and then for the Dodgers to win the division series. So anyway.
Well, San Francisco won 107, Dodgers won 106. So there's no great differential.
Well,
between the two.
It goes to home field advantage.
Yeah.
Right? That's the issue.
Yeah. But the thing is,
according to what you're saying, they should have been playing anyway. That's a different discussion for baseball to get corrected, right?
Yeah, but the Dodgers to me were the better team anyway, because when the Dodgers won their 2 games, they blew them out, right? And then and then the Giants, when they won their 2 games, they were all close.
Yeah.
Nail biters. So to me, the Dodgers had the better team, and they're the defending champions. So you got to knock them out, and the Giants couldn't knock them out. So.
Correct.
It went the right way.
Correctamundo. Shout out to Candace Parker and the Chicago Sky for winning this year's WNBA championship 3 games to 1 over the Phoenix Mercury. Oh?
Yeah, Candace Park, I know Derek Fisher has to be somewhere crying right now. If everybody doesn't know, there was definitely a little bit of a spat last year in the playoffs with Derek Fisher not playing Candace Park in the fourth quarter when it seemed like she wanted to play. And I'm pretty sure that had a lot to do with why she left LA and went home to Chicago. But they had an amazing second half of the season. They had an amazing playoff run. They beat the Connecticut Sun, who was the best team in the WNBA, I believe, if not the second best. And I guess it's just the wound kind of opened up a little bit to see the Phoenix Mercury go to the finals and lose because my sons did the same thing. So that was a little stinger there. But if anybody had to win, I'm glad Candace Parker got a ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that didn't even hit me that it was both Phoenix Suns and the Mercury to lose WNBA and NBA championships respectively. Shout out to Kalia Cooper, MVP for the Chicago Sky. She averaged 17 points and 5.5 rebounds per game, shot 50% from the floor and 36.4% from three. Your WNBA Finals MVP, Kalia Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
And the league MVP was probably, or arguably, I don't know what you might say, but she's the finest one in the league, Skylar Diggins-Smith of the Phoenix Mercury. I can't really
You ain't
like.
lying. You ain't lying.
What?
You ain't lying though.
I can't really love on her like I used to because she's married now. I can't be like her lusting after married women.
No, leave that alone.
But she's a fine one. Anyway, in the recently released AP poll, the Gonzaga Bulldog basketball team is the number one men's team in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is UCLA, who returns almost everybody from last year.
Yeah.
Number three, Kansas. Number four, Villanova. Number five, Texas. Number six, Michigan. Number seven, Purdue. Number eight, Baylor, last year's defending champion. Number nine, Duke. Number 10, Kentucky. Any thoughts, Pep?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing Gonzaga. Chet Holmgren, their top recruit. 7 feet tall.
Yep.
Yeah, from Minnesota. So I'm looking forward.
Number one player in the country coming out of high school.
Correct. And then, of course, teaming up with Drew Timme should be pretty nice. And they also got a couple of good, outstanding top flight point guards coming in, since Jalen Suggs left for the NBA, Orlando. So it's going to be interesting to see them. I'm also interested in seeing how Baylor comes back, from being defending champions, now ranked at number 8, I think it was.
9.
Yeah, number 8.
They lost 4 top players.
Yeah, but still, they're still in the top 10. So that's going.
No, they're at 8. Yeah, you're right. My fault. 8.
Yeah, and of course, UCLA has gotten back to their prominence as we know from years past. Not quite the same, of course, but look, getting to the championship semifinals and now ranked number 2. That's a big deal for that program now.
Very big deal.
So they could possibly getting back to, getting 5 stars and so on and so forth. But the problem is, with these one and dones, that's going to make it kind of a difficult situation to maintain. But, who knows? Maybe they can. And hopefully they will. It's good to see a team like, especially on the West Coast, teams like Gonzaga and UCLA, being in the top 10 constantly. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, no, I think it's, it says a lot about the program at Villanova. For them not having as much as the clout as a UCLA, a Michigan, a Duke, for them to be able to stay relevant and be as good and being a top 5 team to start out this season, Jay Wright is in my opinion, a top 3 coach in the NCAA. And then Of course, I'm ready to see the diaper dandy play. We've been watching Paulo play since he was yay high.
Mm-hmm.
He's ready to explode as a freshman at Duke, and I can't wait.
Yeah, see if he can take Coach Krzyzewski out with a bang in his
Yeah, that too.
final
year.
season coaching the Duke Blue Devils. First season for me, halfway wanting to root for Duke.
I'm mad at you.
All I can say is life changes. When you get me rooting for the hated Blue Devils. Oh, you wasn't nowhere around back in the Christian Laettner days when it was just fashionable to hate Duke because our squad was who, Pep?
Michigan.
Oh, well, mine personally was UNLV. I used to love that.
Okay, and the other squad was
Michigan.
Oh, who was Black America squad? The white school with everybody thought was an HBCU.
Oh, Georgetown. Okay.
Yeah, Hoya Paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we were hating on Duke back then, but it's a different era. It's a different day.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely want to see Chet Holmgren, #1 player in the country at Gonzaga, and looking forward to the college basketball season, as well as I want to see the next level of Zhang at UCLA. And see where he takes his game because he had a fantastic Final Four.
Yeah,
Johnny Zhang.
Yep.
I just called him Zhang. I missed the Zhu. Johnny Zhang. My fault, Johnny. My bad.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I was surprised he stayed. So good for him.
Yeah, I would have left. I would have left quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, hey, good games over the weekend in the NFL. I have a friend that has got me involved with the pool where I pick games every weekend, and I don't know why I picked. Well, I do know why. I actually thought Miami was going to beat Jacksonville.
So did I. I picked them
and woke
too.
my happy self up at 6:30 in the morning and started watching that game. That was some bad football. Oh my God, it was bad.
Well, good thing I didn't wake up to watch it then.
You better be glad. The best thing about it was it went into overtime. And there was some suspense to it. Other than that, it was like, and I'm not sure that Tui is the answer. I'm going to give him a pass because he's been out and I guess he's playing with cracked ribs.
Yeah, but he threw almost 50 passes.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you look at his stats, it looks like he balled out.
Right.
But he missed a lot of easy key throws that would have won the game for him. And so I'm like, man, I mean, come on, Tui. I mean, until I saw the stats, I was like, oh, all right, Tui. You know, but if I would have just looked at the stats and not watched the game, but I'm like, man, he had some easy throws that he missed that would have won them the game. It probably would have blew him out. Like, I don't know. But, you know, we'll see. I don't know. He didn't look like a franchise QB to me. He just looked like a Kirk Cousins type guy that can put up some numbers but not really get it done. Although Kirk Cousins did get it done yesterday. So we'll see how that all pans out. Pep, NFL Pep Talk, what you got going on there?
Well, as you said, week 6 provided some pretty good action. You know, the later games were more interesting than the earlier games. Earlier games had a couple of blowouts. But KC got back to, you know, pretty much being on track against the Washington football team pretty easily. You know, folks still questioning, well, you know, Patrick Mahomes, what's going on with him? Well, the fact that Kansas City's defense is not that good and the running game is hurting because, you know, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is out and, you know, the running game has been stagnant. So he's had to actually do more, a la like somebody we know here in the Pacific Northwest. He's basically had to pull it out and do everything himself. So, he's going to have probably take more risks. He's going to probably throw more interceptions. He threw 2 yesterday, so now he's got 8 total for the season, whereas last season he only had 6. But then again, he had a full complement of players, run game, defense, and all that the last 2 seasons because both were Super Bowl teams, or at least Super Bowl participant, especially in the last one. So, things are a little bit different right now, but they're only 3-3 and currently still last, I guess, or tied up with Denver in the AFC West. And we know in the next few weeks, they got the Titans actually next week. So that should be pretty interesting as well. So I expect Kansas City probably to get it together. But are they going to be the juggernauts that we've been seeing from them? I'm not too sure about that. So that's going to be interesting to see if they can at least get to that kind of status. I don't see it right now in the AFC. Right now, it looks like Buffalo is going to be the one to look at. And then, the Chargers had a setback, and I'll get more into them in a few seconds. So right now, it looks like Baltimore and Buffalo are the two teams in the AFC right now that are the top two. Would you guys agree with that, or you got somebody else that you're thinking about?
Well, no.
No, I agree with you.
I like that. Good one.
Kansas City doesn't have any defense, and so and then
they didn't play any team with an offensive. They didn't play a team with exceptional offense in Washington. So that 31-13, you might like, oh, they put the clamps down. No, not really. Washington doesn't really have that, except for Terry McLaurin. You can't name another offensive guy.
Yeah. Yeah, they got no name team.
Right. I guess J.D. McKissick because he's an ex-Seahawk, but other than those two, and Taylor Heineke, you don't know who they are. So yeah. So anyway,
so it looks like Buffalo and the Ravens. So you'll get that,
so far, so. Definitely. And so I got onto the Chargers. They got absolutely crushed.
Mollywopped.
Yeah, in Charm City, 34-6. It's not a surprise that they lost. It's just the way that it happened. But sometimes, teams that are up and coming and growing, you run into a team that's already good, right, and proven, and you get thumped.
That's
so now my thought is, what are they going to do now? They're 4-2. They're still in the upper echelon in the AFC West. And Justin Herbert, a great quarterback in the making. He had a rough day, which young quarterbacks do at times. So now we'll see what happens, for him in the coming future. Will he bounce back? Will they, continue to move forward? Because last week against Cleveland, they looked like, world beaters. But so, they got humbled yesterday. So we shall see. And they played, like I said, they played Baltimore, who's right now super hot. Lamar is playing out of his mind. He still runs a little bit too much for my liking, to be honest. I'd like to see him not run as much, with those RPOs. He likes to take the ball out of the running back's hands. Sometimes I like to see him hand that thing off and let the running back do his job, right? And then, of course, we'd also like to see him be a little bit more accurate in some of his passes. But, hey, I'm nitpicking here because he's been pretty stellar. So we'll see if they can keep it up. So, Kansas City and LA Chargers, they're not frauds. But I got one team that I think qualifies as a fraud, and that will be, any guesses?
Cleveland.
Oh, G?
Go ahead.
I don't know. Who?
That would be, is correct.
Cleveland?
Cleveland Browns look like they're frauding it up. Now, I got to say, they do have some injuries to contend with. They lost both.
Everybody got injuries.
Yeah.
Nobody has no injuries in Baltimore, so we got to throw the injury excuse out.
Absolutely. But I'm just saying, for those, that's the first thing people are going to say. Well, they lost Nick Chubb, and today we find out that Kareem Hunt's going to be out several weeks, probably placed on the IR. So they're out without their top two running backs. Sounds familiar. Losing top two running backs, Seattle, Carson, Penny, that kind of thing.
Well, so Baltimore's lost 4, so.
Yep. And then, of
course, dudes off the street.
And don't forget about the 49ers, too.
Yeah.
So, anyway, and also Baker Mayfield now is in question because he dislocated his shoulder and they popped it back in, and he says he'll be ready for Thursday, which is a bad time to have a short week, man. I'm telling you. But they're playing a team that's kind of wishy-washy. They're playing Denver. We don't know who Denver is because, Denver can beat up the Jets and the Giants and the like. But when they've played more solid teams, they fall flat on their face. So we don't know what Denver is. And we truly right now don't know what Cleveland is because they're not healthy. So a healthy Cleveland team, you would think would have no problem blowing the doors off the Broncos. But with this week coming up, it's going to be really hard to figure out who's who. And of course, and Teddy Bridgewater, he's still playing well. He's not losing the games for Denver. Denver's just not as good as a lot of those teams that they're losing to. So, we'll see what happens, but it's going to be a short week. And so Cleveland is definitely on the fraud alert for sure. And I just want to give a shout out to the Las Vegas Raiders. With all that Gruden turmoil last week and the way they played against the Chicago Bears, you'd have thought they would have went into Denver and just laid down or, just whatever. But no, they came out like a house of fire and they just turned it on and turned it out for the whole game. So, I got to give shout out and kudos to David Carr and the Raiders. They played well and they acted like, that, hey, okay, you can count us out, but don't. So kudos to Raider Nation, how they handled Broncos in Denver. So, of course, next week, I'm not sure who they play next week, but we'll see what happens because, the NFL is week to week, man. We might see the Raiders that played against Bears last week, or are we going to see what they did yesterday? So I don't know. But pretty much that's it. That's all I got for Pep Talk today.
Okay, good job, Pep. As far as the San Diego Superchargers, LA,
yeah,
they don't have a defense.
Yep.
Browns put up 42 on them last week.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's their issue. And so in the AFC, to me, the top three teams are Baltimore, Buffalo, and Tennessee. And so at the half now it's 23-23, or third quarter, 23-23, Buffalo and Tennessee all tied up. I believe that Tennessee will be there in the end, at the end of the season, because they have a good defense and they have a strong running game. And then the rest is on Ryan Tannehill. They got good receivers, Julio Jones and
so what you're saying, they basically have zero excuses, right?
Yeah.
None.
Yeah. Absolutely. I believe they're starting to put it together. They've been playing well since they beat the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll be a team that needs to be reckoned with. We got to go to break. When we come back, we're going to talk the National Basketball Association, which gets underway tomorrow night. So Lil O on the NBA when we come back from break. Do not go away. You are listening to and watching LidLine Sports on Facebook Live, Rainier Avenue Radio World, and all of our podcast platforms, as well as Twitch and YouTube.
I go to work like a doctor. When I rock the mic, you got to like the way I operate. I make
Rainier Avenue Radio.
And welcome to our live studio audience for another exciting edition of Did You Know? And here we go with round one. Did You Know?
COVID vaccine is free and easy to get. You don't need insurance or an appointment to get your vaccine. Vaccines are available at 3 locations near you.
And now we're going to double the value. Did You Know?
The COVID-19 vaccine is always free of cost. You can visit pharmacies, community health centers, and other health providers in your neighborhood.
And now for the lightning round. Did you know?
The Delta variant of COVID is a mutation that has health experts
Oh, yeah.
worried it's twice
When
as
can we
contagious.
get our booster?
And for our finale, did you know?
The best way to
You're not either.
the COVID
He
Delta
said I
variant
was.
is to get fully vaccinated. Get your vaccine today.
Find out more at kingcounty.gov/vaccine. Did you know?
Philam Radio, servicing the Filipino and Filipino Americans all over the world. Philam Radio, streaming live in the internet every Tuesday from 1 o'clock to 2:30 p.m. Shuttle USA time. We are your host, Kuya Bert Kawili, Emma Heron, and
Manny Panganiban.
Philam Radio.
High school football is back, but guess what? We need more referees. There is a constant need for qualified individuals to work our high school football game. Please consider becoming a football official. Go to pnfoa.com to sign up today. That's pnfoa.com to sign up today. This is a message brought to you by Rainier Avenue Radio App, your home for Metro High School football.
Rainier Avenue Radio.world is your 24/7 digital media hub. Tune in at Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and TuneIn apps.
I go work like a doctor. When I rock the mic, you got to like the way I operate. I make miracles happen just for rapping.
And I'm Granville Emerson. That was me doing a little ventriloquy without sound. With my partners Renault, Pepe Bean, and Lil O Stevenson. Let's get right to the NBA. Oh,
Yeah, so we've seen over the last couple of years the Eastern Conference has definitely gotten a little better, but the Western Conference is still a juggernaut. It's still a battle every night, and it continues to be like that this year. Starting with the top of the helm. Ooh, need some water here. Starting with the top of the helm, you have your Western Conference champs, the Phoenix Suns. The Suns are in a predicament where I won't necessarily say it's championship or bust, but they did so well last year that they are definitely in hopes of getting back to the NBA Finals. And how that will be done will be with the continued development of the young core, which, I think a lot of people kind of overlook a little bit. Devin Booker is under 25. DeAndre Ayton is under 23. Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson are both under 25 as well. That, along with the chemistry of the Suns bringing everybody back with that who made that championship run with them, it's going to be very vital, along with, of course, the leadership of Chris Paul, who was brought back on a max deal, and Monty Williams, who, in my opinion, should have been NBA Coach of the Year. There's I can't guess the future, but there's going to be a good chance that when they go into the playoffs this season, they won't be playing the LA Lakers, who has a hobbled LeBron James and Anthony Davis, who got hurt. They won't run into an LA Clippers who was without the best player, Kawhi Leonard. They won't run into a Denver Nuggets who was without Jamal Murray. No excuses. They made it to the finals regardless, but I don't think the chips will fall their way like that this year. And those points that I just made is going to be very important for this finals, for this run that they plan to make this season. Can they run it back, guys, with this crew really not making much moves or relying on the youth and Chris Paul? Can they make a final run again, guys?
They can. Pep. Pep, you there? You on mute too?
He's practicing his ventriloquist too.
I think the Suns can make a run. What they have going for them now is experience. Mm-hmm. They've been there. They're hungry to get back. And so, barring injuries, I expect him to be a player at the end of the season.
We hear you, Pep.
Okay. I don't know what happened. But anyway, what I was saying is there's one thing that the Suns just found out, a new problem is DeAndre Ayton has not agreed to a contract extension. And I'm not sure. I don't know how that's going to affect his play or their situation. Nothing might be affected whatsoever, but that's just something negative that they don't need right now.
Mm-hmm. And you are definitely right about that. I think, I guess the positive in this situation is DeAndre Ayton is kind of now in this show me state of, proving to Sarver that he is worth the max deal. There's still something that can be figured out at the end of the season. But yes, also, he's now playing a whole season without being guaranteed the max deal, and he can get hurt. He cannot play well.
Well, yeah, that 207 max is a lot.
Definitely.
And considering what he did in the finals, which was he got humbled by Giannis, makes you one hesitant to pay him that, So I can see why Phoenix is a little, has some trepidation on doing that. Not to say that, of course, as young as he is, he's what? You said he's under 23. So obviously we know that he's going to get much better and could be, devastating, hopefully for his sake. But right now, that was a big question because of what happened in the finals and what he's asking for now. So, I mean, right now at this very second, would either of you pay him that max?
What's happening? We having some technical difficulties. Moving on.
Yeah, and the team that will be
I don't know what the heck's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. The team that is in their way, though, and everybody's favorite, once again, is the LA Lakers, and very rightfully so. Lakers did a full remodel on this roster after losing in the first round of the playoffs. Got rid of Kyle Kuzma, who was a shell of himself last year. Montrezl Harrell was not helping the playoffs. And I think the scapegoat out of that group, even though I think he had a pretty good first round, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and I would have liked the Lakers to keep him, but he had to be a part of that Russell Westbrook deal in order to bring Westbrook into LA. They added a lot of veteran Hall of Famers. I just mentioned Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, who finally gets to play with LeBron James, bringing back Dwight Howard. And then brought in some kind of unproven, but young talent, though, and Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn, and then shooters, which we all agree that that's something that they lacked last year. Trevor Ariza, Wayne Ellington, Kent Bazemore, all shot over 35%. Wayne Ellington, I shot over 40%. But none of that matters if Anthony Davis does not return to being the dominant force that he was when he got to LA. 21 points a game, 7 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks, all career lows, will not get it done. Anthony Davis is brought here to be the dominant force offensively and being the anchor defensively, and he was not that last year. Granted, he was injured throughout the season a lot, but there's something along with also I feel like how he was used offensively, and that's how Anthony Davis likes to play. He likes playing on the perimeter. I think he is falling in love with shooting a lot of jump shots, even though he is just as dominant around the paint as well. And then once again, I think the 1.2 blocks has a lot to do with him playing power forward. He's guarding a lot of wings out there who play the stretch 4 instead of being under the rim, which he's used to playing around. But yeah, this is championship or bust for another team that's led by LeBron James and company, who's 37 years old. He just spoke today talking about, once again, that rest isn't really an option for him throughout the season. He actually said he feels like he played worse playing low minutes and things of that nature. And he still got hurt. I know this is your team. What do you expect out of these guys this year?
LeBron is like an old car. You got to keep it running. You can't garage it and take it out and garage it and take it out. You got to keep it running. So that's what he's saying. He can't be sitting, taking no what do you call those days?
Load management.
Load management days. They signed Avery Bradley, who was cut by the Golden State Warriors against Steph Curry's wishes today.
Yep.
And so that's what they needed. If you watch them during the preseason, you see that they lacked defensive presence on the perimeter. And so I think that is a good signing. He's back with the Lakers. Avery Bradley sat out when they were in the bubble and won the championship in the bubble. Still got a ring, but this is his opportunity to show what he can do and be that lockdown defender that they will definitely need if they want to go far into the playoffs.
Why did he get cut in Oakland?
He played well the last game that I watched too, so I am surprised by that.
Yeah, I don't know why he got cut. That's a management decision.
You think it has something to do with the emergence of Jordan Poole?
Probably. Financial decision. He's a cheaper player. They feel like he can probably do similar things or whatever they need him to do in the scheme of what they're doing. But now they don't have what he brings to the table. That's also that guy that can lock down the other team's best guard.
Right.
As we see when you get into the playoffs with Denver and Jamal Murray and Utah and Donovan Mitchell and, whoever they have to play, including PG-13 with the Clippers. They sabbatical. What are you talking about, Rhonda? And so they're missing that aspect of it, and now the Lakers have that guy that can defend those type of players, and that's what you need to get to the championship and win a championship nowadays. So many guys now have really good ball skills in terms of being able to create off the dribble. And so you need somebody that can be able to guard. It's almost like you got to have that lockdown corner in football because there's so many good receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many guys that can create their own offense. You got to have a lockdown defender in the NBA.
That's a great point.
Yeah. Did the Lakers? How many? Did they win a preseason game? Because every time I saw them,
they went 0-4.
Okay, but I guess that look, I understand. I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. Not winning a preseason game does not prelude to anything that's going to happen in the regular season. So folks out there, don't get all crazy. I was just asking because I didn't know.
The NBA preseason goes actually all the way unofficially to All-Star break. Then the season starts. All-Star break. And then the real season starts when the playoffs start. So
and that's the point. That the Lakers have been playing over these last 2 years, especially with LeBron being over 35. They lock in the second half of the season, and they are ready to go by playoff time. Everybody who is a Lakers fan who watches NBA, do not be surprised if the Lakers do get off to a little bit of a slow start. They are a brand new team who also has brought in another superstar. So they're looking to build chemistry, and you will see a lot of that over these first 2 months of the season, especially when it comes to the LA Lakers. They have enough, though, to still win games and I think be around the top three until December. And like I said, by January, February, they're going to be ready to go. If Anthony Davis is ready to go right now, though, all the weight will be on his shoulders.
Yeah, I think AD to your point, AD took a lot of threes last year because they didn't have anybody else that could shoot threes.
And that's fair.
This year they do. He's also agreed as part of coming as a part of Russell Westbrook going to the Lakers that he was going to play more five.
Yep.
And so look for that to happen. And to me, the key to the whole situation is their coach and how well he's able to come up with a lineup and rotation that's the best for the players that they have. That's the key with anything. So it's kind of like Popovich with the U.S. Olympic team.
Yep.
Remember how they had those growing pains trying to figure out the lineup and everything and who plays what minutes where and what have you?
Right.
That's what the Lakers will be having to deal with this year. What's their coach's name?
Frank Vogel.
Yeah, I had a brain lock like I normally do every Monday. Frank Vogel, he will have to do that. So it's on him to figure that out. And the faster that him and their brain trust gets that figured out, the faster they'll start winning and getting ready to shoot for a championship.
Agreed, definitely. And then my third team in the contenders pool, the Utah Jazz. We've seen them year after year be a dominant team in the regular season, topped off with Donovan Mitchell turning out to be a stud and probably the steal of the draft. I think that was 2016, I believe. And he is ascending to be a superstar. We saw him last year in the playoffs pretty much do what he did the year before in the playoffs, and he went berserk. The problem is he had no help, consistent help. You saw Joe Ingles not really do much offensively. Bogdanovich be inconsistent. Rudy Gobert is not an offensive scorer. He can't spread the floor. He hangs around the rim. He is a great offensive rebounder. Mike Conley also was not there as well. That's another player who stays hurt.
I'm glad you mentioned him because I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, go ahead.
As far as Utah is concerned, they're not going anywhere if Mike Conley can't stay on the court. If he's out this many games, that many games, and then come playoff time, he's gonna miss a whole series. You might as well count them out. Yeah. I cannot believe in them unless he's gonna be out there. The same with the Clippers. I can say that about Kawhi. If Kawhi's not there, I don't care what the Clippers do in the regular season. They're not going anywhere deep in the playoffs without him.
Yep. And that's pretty much like what I piggyback on is, like I said, the Jazz won't go far in the playoffs if Donovan can't get real help offensively. We know that they're a good team.
Two things have to happen for Utah to go further than they've gone. Number one, Mike Conley Jr. has to stay healthy. Number two, Rudy Gobert has to be an offensive threat. He's got to score in the paint. He's got to dominate in the paint when he's on the floor like he dominates blocking shots on the other end of the floor. All right. And they're going to have to make sure that when he's in the game that their pick and roll strategy is effective, because him standing in the lane and letting people come off ball picks nowadays is not really that effective. Once you get that deep in the playoffs and you got shooters that can shoot deep and extend that pick and roll. So those are the things that they have to do to get to the championship and win a championship.
And that's something you've seen the Bucks had an issue with when it came to Brook Lopez, is having dropped him back in that coverage in the pick and roll. That was a good point. Yeah. Those are my three contenders. If Jamal Murray was healthy and with the Denver Nuggets, I would have had these guys as contenders. Nikola Jokic is different, a unicorn we've never seen before, which is why he will do so much to get them as a top 5 team in the West. But without Jamal Murray, there's no way that they beat those 3 teams. What was that?
I was going to say, how long is Murray out? Because it seems like he's been out a year.
Towards ACL towards the end of last season, and that's usually a year process. So he's definitely not coming back. If he does, it'll be closer to the end of the year. It won't be 100%.
Well, I mean, okay.
You got 1 minute left,
Got you. Right. The Clippers also same thing with them. Paul George can lead, but I don't know how much they can lead or how much they can do without Kawhi Leonard. The Warriors will be relevant again, and depending on how Klay Thompson looks when he comes back, Steph's a Warrior. They could possibly, no pun intended, they could possibly be a contender to see how those guys all click well together and with the youth to taking another leap. The Dallas Mavericks and the Portland Trail Blazers, I do think that they'll kind of be in that same position they were in last year. Both just didn't do anything in the offseason to help out their stars in Damian Lillard and Luka Doncic. The difference is Luka's locked in with Dallas. We heard rumbles with Portland and Damian Lillard. Who knows what can happen? And that's something we're definitely going to pay attention to throughout this season.
Porzingis is still in Dallas, right?
Yes, he is.
To me, right now, that's the biggest surprise in the offseason because there's no. I mean, because
He's young, so
last
it's
year,
tough.
after last year, you knew he was gone, and he's still there. It's like
We got to wrap up this
okay.
segment, Pep, but you are on the nose with Porzingis. I've heard Jason Kidd say that he wanted Porzingis.
Yep.
He felt like Porzingis was underused, and they just wanted to have him as a three-point shooter. And now he's going to have Porzingis working out of the high end, the low post, as well as shooting
We'll
threes.
see.
All right, thanks, O, for that in-depth analysis of Western Conference of the NBA. The NBA gets started tomorrow night with their premium preseason package of games that start tomorrow night. To those Seattle Seahawks, our hometown team that we've got to talk about for the next 5 minutes. The Geno time started in Seattle last night. Any quick thoughts on that? Let's start with you, Mr. NFL.
Well, what did we say last week? That if he's going to be successful, they had to have a run game and the defense has to play better. Well, that run game finally showed up in the second half, and actually the defense did play a little better. So towards the end of the game, they were right there. So when you have a backup quarterback, that's what you need. You need them to be able to stay close so you could either pull it out in the end or not. And this time we got the or not. So if people are out there thinking, oh, Geno is going to be the savior, or these next 3 games the Seahawks can go 2-1 or 3-0 or whatever. Yeah, that's a pipe dream to even think that. If you notice, he had no downfield plays, right? Except for maybe 1 or 2. His stats were good, 23 of 32 for 209 yards. But
stats for losers.
But if you look at the catches, DK had like 9 catches for, less than 80 yards or whatever.
That's it for losers.
Yeah. So, now they're supposed to be talking to Cam, which is probably a good thing. I wish they were talking to Cap, but that's another story. So, we'll probably get more of the same next Monday night against the Saints.
Pep, I'm with Rhonda Dorsey. Rhonda Dorsey says we got to finish a game. And it's not going to happen with Geno, because Geno goes in and does Geno things. Against the Rams, he throws the interception. Against the Pittsburgh Steelers, he fumbles. He takes a sack that he doesn't need to take us out of field goal range. Then he fumbles the ball to lose the game. That's Geno doing Geno things. What a person does is a good indication of what they're going to do, because people don't change that much.
Right.
Right? And that is Geno. As far as Pete Carroll goes with his keep it close and winning in the end, well, that doesn't work without the elite Russell Wilson. Okay? And so we ran the ball effectively against Pittsburgh. In the second half. But let me see them do that more than one half. Okay?
Yeah.
You got Rashard Penny coming back this week. Chris Carson is still out with a mysterious neck injury.
Yeah, he's going to be out next 2 more games because he's got put on IR.
They don't even know. It was like some Pete Carroll said it didn't even happen this season, and something happened in the past that flared up. So they don't even know. Any thoughts you might have?
No, I thought that this was, the kind of the perfect team for Geno to get out there and have his first start with. The Pittsburgh Steelers offense isn't the greatest. So it gave the Seahawks many chances to stay in this game. And just like Pep said, at the second half, they played much better football. The defense played pretty solid throughout the game. Just like I said, we were right there. That's the type of game that, you want to sting them in the end, and costly fumble cost the game. But I thought Geno played pretty solid. I thought he did just enough to win the game until.
Well, okay. Come on, man. How many times have we watched a backup quarterback lose and play quote unquote solid?
Yeah. You're right.
It's because they don't ask him to do much.
Yeah, you're right.
They didn't ask Geno to make any tough throws. He only threw the ball down the field one time that I remember. And the rest was like little safe passes.
Yes.
And threw a couple key incompletions on some safe passes. And that was my issue with Geno. And what people don't realize about Russell Wilson is extremely accurate. I think he might be leading the league in percentage, completion percentage, or in the top 3 for sure. So it's the accuracy that takes elite quarterbacks to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And so Geno is a backup, like Pep said. He does backup things. Cam Newton, it would be great, but Cam's not going to come here. Cam's looking for the right. He might end up not playing at all, waiting, but he's looking for the right opportunity. That's what he said. Okay? He doesn't want to go to a situation that's going to make him look bad like he did by going to New England. Made everybody think that he can't play anymore, right?
Right.
And so now he's at home waiting for a winning team to need a quarterback. Like
and he said he's vaccinated too.
Yeah, he got vaccinated Sunday. So that's not the prohibitive thing anymore.
Mm-mm.
So we'll see. The Seahawks defense did look better. The multi-million-dollar man at safety needs to make a play. Still letting the ball hit him in the face. Jamal Adams.
Well, I think the rookie Trey Brown came in and did well.
The rookie, I like Trey Brown. I like the way he talks, and you can obviously see that he can back up his talk. And he's solid. Anytime I see a Seahawk DB actually next to a receiver in a route, I'm like, yeah, leave that dude out there on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's running with the receiver. John Hugley thinks Geno did a good job. Yeah, if you fumble to lose the ball, fumble to lose the game, I guess that don't count. But okay. I see you guys have low expectations for Geno. I expect Geno, a veteran quarterback that's been behind Russell Wilson, to come in and in that instance take him down the field, at least get a field goal to win the game, not fumble the ball because you got the ball out in front of you in traffic where somebody can just hit your arm and knock the ball out. You got to tuck it when you're running in traffic. I mean, you're not a rookie, Geno. He's been in the league forever. And so,
That's fair.
Yep.
Our time is out. I want to thank all you all for your comments. And I want to thank Pep for the NFL information and Lil O for always keeping us down on the NBA. Enjoy the NBA. It's going to be a great season. And the NFL season has been really good up until this point, and look forward to all of that as well.
Season 75
and basketball. On behalf of my partners, I'm Granville Emerson. They are Renault, Pepe Bean, and Lil O Stevenson. You've been listening to and watching LidLine Sports. Sports as we see it from
just below our lid.
Holla.
I go to work like a doctor when I